Hello, I'm Mitch Maxwell, principal of Rusheon Middle School, and today we're going to do a training video for you on the ILT. The ILT within our school meets every Thursday, and what we try to do is come up with ways to enhance our instructional practices, which will therefore enhance our students' educational experience and achievement. Today's ILT is going to focus on some areas that we've struggled with as a school, primarily because we have many of our teachers come from alternate tracks of education, as well as they don't have very many years of experience. So today you're going to hear us talking about the Louisiana Educator Portal or Louisiana Educator Rubric, and we're going to be going over some parts of that seem to be a problem for some of our teachers as far as making the highest score they possibly can. So we're working on through that today. We're also going to talk about student goal setting and implementation of LEAP vocabulary into our school campus-wide. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, all right, gang, well, welcome back to our first ILT of this second 9 weeks, coming back from fall break. I know everybody had a great break, and it's been a good week so far. We need to do some digging in today into some what's next, according to our ILT schedule, and where we leave off. If you remember, we reviewed and went over the rubric for the first 9 weeks, and finished all that, and began to do observations. Through that, though, I found a few things that teachers still are struggling with in the observation process. I think we got to get that ironed out if we're going to maximize results from our students. So today we're going to review and clarify the formal lesson plan template for observations to understand evaluation expectations and the self-evaluation process. That's a complicated way of saying there's some things that are happening that are slowing the teachers down as far as maximizing their score. There's some things they don't quite understand. I think it's because we have a staff that doesn't have a lot of experience. Yep. Now, also before the break, Ms. Polk wrote out this lesson plan template for you guys to use for the pre-conference, okay? And it's been kind of hit or miss. It seems like some people are confused on it. This was designed so that if you answer the questions on there, the pre-conference will go a lot more smoothly, and you'll earn more points on the lesson planning portion of the announced observation. Okay? So, that being said, Ms. Polk, why don't you help us go through some of these things on here?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I just wanted to clarify on this that might help some of the teachers and might help you guys explain to the teachers what needs to be on here. The first thing is under lesson objectives, activities, and materials. It says detailed and sequence with S&T activities labeled and defined. That's their normal lesson plan. Like the student will, the teacher will. The student will, the teacher will. That's them telling everything that they're going to be doing. Okay? Their standards, we should know what those are. Mm-hmm. Okay? Their daily assessments, that's going to be their exit ticket. That's going to be what they're doing to evaluate whether the students met the objective or not.
Just real quick, let me interject. So back to the student and teacher activities. You know the rubric is student-centered. Okay, it's focused on them. So if they're filling out lesson plans and they're doing their plan and it's a ton of teacher stuff, they're not on the right track, right? For what they want to see in the classroom. So to you, what's the difference between an objective and an activity? Somebody just give me an answer.
Assessment and activity?
Objective and activity.
Objective is what the student should be mastering. Mm-hmm. The activity is what they're doing to get to mastery.
Very good, very good. And the hang up is we're just seeing what we're doing. It's like a list almost in some of these people. So we got to correct that, tweak that a little bit more. The veteran teachers seem to have it down. It's just like I said, some of the more inexperienced people who are in y'all's groups. So you might want to touch base with them, maybe spot check a few things here and there to make sure they're on the right track. What's another issue we've seen? And then the final issue really that's been represented up is the self-evaluation. Okay, now I know we gave you a copy of the form, that you guys all saw that earlier. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's what it should look like when you fill it out. And like I said, people haven't been able to access it through the portal, so we've had them do it by hand. The issue is people are treating it like it's a checklist, instead of looking back at the rubric and using that to evaluate how they've done these things. Now, I'm doing all the new teachers first, so a lot of this stuff is just things that they're confused about. But like they were just ranking themselves a 5 if they had these things in place in the lesson. So I reiterated to them to use the rubric, read through it, and what would you score yourself based on that? That's what this has to be like. Now today I did an observation, and it was much better self-evaluation at the end when she turned it in, much better. You could tell that she really spent time with the rubric and scoring herself back and forth. As a matter of fact, our scores matched up really well all the way through it. Even the part of her refinement and reinforcement, we were the same. So that was good. That was great to see that. So that means if you do it and do it right, then you should not be super surprised by how you score. Okay. So my question for you guys on this part of the stuff we're going to do today, this is all over the observations. What else do we need to do for teachers to help them be more successful in their observations so that instruction improves in the classroom? What else? Anybody have anything that's coming up?
I think if we did like an exemplar lesson, like video,
Okay.
giving details.
Okay.
Not volunteer again.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, we've shown them what it looks like. So when we say we want to do an exemplar lesson and give them details,
On the things that they're struggling the most. What are the
All right.
two things that we're
okay,
seeing?
okay, all right. So that will come probably later as we do a few more observations. But the activities and objectives thing, I think you guys can come up with something to do in TCs for that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You can kind of give like a little mini lesson during the TCs of
Right.
what we need to hit
Right.
on. And we could do that.
You
yeah.
can do that pretty
I
quick and
think
pretty simple.
With everybody that I've sat down and explained it to, they've been like, oh, okay. Like it's been
Yeah.
like a
Yep.
light bulb.
Yep.
So I think it's just like a refresher that just
Yeah.
And I
needs to be.
think sometimes too, when they're in training,
Yeah.
they're not picking it up because they don't need it right that second.
Right.
So then
Okay.
when you're in the one-on-one or their observation is upcoming, then they have a lot of questions, for the one-on-one.
Now let's shift now to the instructional side of things. Okay. As far as our instructional practices and our student data go. Let's just assume everybody's got the rubric down and we're all ready to roll and everything's going great. We talked about before the holiday break how SLTs would be due soon. And they're due at the end of November. Okay. Everybody in this room knows what an SLT is. A lot of your colleagues do not know what an SLT is. Some of you probably already got yours done, or at least set aside to do them. So, first off, let's remind people what is an SLT.
Student learning target.
Very good. Student learning target.
So those are due at the end of November.
Yes.
Does that mean they have to be completed?
No,
Or
just
that
you
you
just
start-
submit.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
you start it. Now, remember, our district initiative says that they should not be that complex this year. It should be more unit-based,
So
like your
pre-test,
pre-test, post-test.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So it's okay if they haven't done one yet. They're going to start a new unit, and they can do it on that unit. All right? Now, coming off the SLTs, the next thing that needs to really be happening is student goal setting. A teacher approached me on Monday and said, Mr. Maxwell, I want you to know I'm starting goal setting with my kids. I said, okay, good. She said, I think I'm just going to punish them and make them see where they are. Well, that's the wrong mindset to have with goal setting. And I told her that. I also told her you probably should have done this in August. But that's okay. There's still time. And with SLTs coming up, I think student goals tie in very nicely with that. Okay? They have to know where they are to figure out what they need to do to get where they want to go. And if we're not giving them that information, we're doing them a disservice. Okay? So, if we're going to do student goal setting and we're going to make sure that we're talking about those LEAP goals, get them where they need to be or higher, don't you think we need to use LEAP terminology?
Yeah.
Okay. Are any of you doing that yet?
Yep.
Okay, you are. Good.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing it in the observations I'm doing. So it's not permeating campus-wide yet. Okay? So, what do you think the holdups are?
In math, I know that there was a statement or two made that they didn't feel like that was setting the students up for like the real world, like, you know, because when we talked about changing the math score bands or whatever, if they didn't make an A, then they really.
Okay. Well, even backing off of the bands.
I know.
Yeah. Even backing off the bands. Can't you talk about an A like it's advanced and a B like
Yes.
it's
That's
mastery?
Yes, that's how we have it set up now.
Yeah. And a C like it's basic. I mean, and use those terms. So at least it's the same terminology so that they have a general understanding of what that is. I mean, all right.
Yep.
I won't fight you too much on the deal about that right now, but with the score bands and all that stuff. But we got to use those terms so that they mean something.
What about for their success criteria?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that
Yes.
be part
Yes.
of your success criteria?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
undersat, basic, mastery, and advanced.
Like a certain
Yeah.
percentage added.
Yes.
I want. Okay. So maybe we tweak it a little bit more. So instead of saying, I know I have mastered this whatever is objective, I will be in the advanced level according to this objective if I do these things. And then mastery on these things, basic on these, or whatever. I wouldn't go below basic or showing them what they need to do. You want them at least at that level. Maybe not even below mastery because, don't forget.
Sheet up in our room
Yeah.
says like on the unit test, like who all scored in advanced on the unit test, who got mastery
Yeah.
on the unit
Yes,
test, who
that's
got
what
basic, and I don't do anything lower than that.
No.
You get to see,
Right.
because you don't want to like embarrass them.
Well, yeah.
You make that creates something for them to
Yeah.
shoot for because they want their name on that list.
Right. Well, I mean, you can break it down where you don't have to put their names on it. You can just break it down by their score band, advanced, mastery, basic, approach, and basic, and unsat, and just put how many of each one you had in that classroom. And set a class goal for the next test. Okay, if we only had 2 advanced this time. Next time we're going to have 4 advanced, or we're going to have 6 masteries, and we're going to, and set it like that. Good. All right. So what I want us to do. There's inside your packet she gave you, there's a brainstorming topic sheet, okay? With your shoulder partner. Let's go ahead and do it this way. Let's go ahead. You got your shoulder partner over there. Miss Bumpus, if you'll work. Miss Bottom, if you'll work with Miss Cole. And you two here, and we'll work together on this. Okay, all right. What I want you to do is to develop a plan or come up with an idea of how we can implement LEAP terminology into these classes a little bit better.
So if they are, maybe if they're at a low basic on LEAP level, and if their average is staying around that point, then you know you're on track. Yeah. And if
You're already doing this stuff. We're just asking you to do it in different terms that will impact learning across the board. That's all we're doing. And I mean, it's not like it's complicated vocabulary. It's not.
Because they're still achieving the same thing.
Right.
For his over there, it's like 75, whatever. So all he has to do is say, okay, if you get this, then you're good.
That's it. That's all you gotta do.
There's, if we could offer them, because like that's what I'm saying. I don't want to keep overloading them with things
No.
to do. But if we could tweak what they're already
Right. Yeah.
or if they're not doing something
Right.
else, we could give them something simple to do.
Kind of briefly, group to group, about some of the ideas that you may have came up with to introduce this terminology to our students and embed it in our instructional practices. So let's start. We'll start with Miss Bala and Miss Cole.
I don't know that we talked about that.
Okay, well,
Okay.
and we
may have.
Yeah.
kind of went on over a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Really, it's just making sure that the teachers are using that language.
Yeah.
Because we kind of discussed, even at the start when we were rolling it out, and we were
Right.
like, hey, you need to talk to them in these terms.
Right.
We also kind of coupled that with so many other things that we were introducing.
Right.
We just feel like it's not a reticence on the teacher's part if
No.
they're not implementing.
Right.
It's just we might need another reintroduction. Like, hey guys, this is the language that we expect for you to use. Here's how we want you to talk to them about it. Maybe resend
Okay.
out. Rana had that scale that she shared. Do you know what I'm saying?
My
Like,
crazy scale.
just
Yeah.
like a hey, remember. This is what we're doing, just in time for them to use it, because I think that front loading that we did was also front loaded with a myriad of
Right.
other things.
Yeah.
So then people kind of gravitated to the things that they felt good about and started implementing
Right.
those just to get up and running. And so
Yeah.
now I think if we say, hey, okay, remember this, And it partners so well with our SLTs and our, you know what I mean, our goal setting for kids. So.
Right. Well, the first quarter of the year is all about setting up your systems within your school. And the second quarter is all about tweaking those systems to benefit the students. And the third, you're rolling into the mastery phase of the year. In the fourth year, you're finding out the end results. That's why it's quarter by quarter. Now, we finished the first quarter, we're solid. Off to a good start. Now head into halftime, we've got to make sure we maintain that lead. Okay, that's kind of how you have to look at it. Guys, anything else? Any feedback from parents? Grades came out this week. No? Well, that's a
They
shame.
weren't,
All right.
people call me, they weren't happy, like, I had a few.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
But,
Well,
I mean, it wasn't anything like, that wasn't manageable, but they
Okay.
just, what can I do, what can my child
Right.
do to get better so they don't.
good,
you know,
good,
it was,
good,
And I
It
think
was
that's
good
what-
conversations.
good.
And I think that's what one of mine was. So I said after school or Saturday.
Yeah,
So,
good. So I was going to say, keep pushing that. We have the after school program Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we have Saturday school. Keep pushing that to those kids and those parents. And we won't be overwhelmed. We don't want 100 kids up here on Saturday morning. But, we'll help who we can help for sure. Okay? All right. They do need to do their homework. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. Have a great evening. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yes.
Yep. All right.